Refuge Nation. We are here today with Amber Haddock. She is an executive protection agent, and she is going to talk today with us about things that we need to do to be safe out there in the world with all this craziness going on. So, thank you so much for coming on today, Amber.
Oh man, I love my Refuge Medical family. So it's an honor to be here with you.
Yeah, it's so great. I loved the content that we made. What was that? Like almost a year ago now,
You know
was
what?
it?
I was looking at my old photos and it was a year ago. I'm
Oh
gonna have to
my
come back out
gosh.
there. We're gonna have to do this every year.
We are. We're gonna have to come to you one of these times. You come to us. We'll
Deal.
have a blast. It'll be great.
That
Okay,
sounds
so I don't know if you've been seeing the craziness out there, but it's getting a little crazier day by
getting
day.
a little crazy. It's getting a little
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah. Especially with this crazy thing happening in like a week and a half. Everything going on. So how should we be staying safe out there, whether we're alone, whether we have kids, whether, whatever, whoever we are out there?
Well, I definitely want thank you so much for this platform and thank you for allowing me back in. Let's say what the main thing I want for everybody to take away today that are watching is you have to think like the bad guy.
Hmm.
If you can get into your mindset of thinking like the bad guy, a lot of people that have their head in the sand are actually poking their head out
Hmm.
and they don't know what to do because their head has been in the sand. Listen, we welcome everybody. We just want to meet you where you're at. I know that's what you guys are for as well as I am. We have to meet people where they're at. If you can think like the bad guy, I wouldn't say constantly, but it's a constant like, okay, what am I doing? Not necessarily wrong, but why am I a target? Am I a target? What does a target look like? How does that feel? What is that thought process of
Hmm.
thinking like the bad guy? Um, your head always on a swivel. We talked
Yep.
about that several
Yep.
times at the grocery stores, at any gas stations, anything that you do on the daily. If you constantly think of, okay, well, am I putting myself in danger just because I'm clueless? What am I
Yeah.
supposed to? So,
Yeah, for sure. I know we talk about head on a swivel a ton. Not staring at your phone when you're
awesome.
walking around. Like that's a huge thing where I see people and I'm like, I could walk up and like you would never know. And definitely
It's
exactly.
amazing.
Yeah.
And
So
it's like reminders like this. Hopefully, somebody that is watching today, or for the future, for our YouTube channels, it's simple things like your head has got to be up. You have to look around, or you're already lost.
yeah, my dad played a game with me and my siblings growing up when we were sitting there at a restaurant waiting for the food. It wasn't technology central back then. We didn't have smartphones to play on. And he would tell us without even no pre-warning, he would be like, close your eyes. And then he'd be like, how many people are wearing hats in the room? Or
That's
how many
great.
females? And it trained us to always be aware of what was going on, who was around us. And it was just a fun game that now that I'm an adult, I knew what he was doing. But as a kid, it was just a fun game that dad would play with us. So
Go, Dad.
yeah, right.
That's
I
great.
mean,
I'm taking that to my next class, by the
yeah,
way.
it was definitely, and it's fun to do with adults too, because you don't realize like how much they don't pay attention. They're like, especially when you're like, what color are your wife's eyes? And they're like,
Oh,
you're like, come on.
let me look at our driver's license.
Yeah, right. Oh man. So yeah, head on a swivel. Okay, what's next?
So, it's everyday things that you do. We go to the grocery store, we go to the gas station, we have to do these things, right? To live, to survive. What are you doing at the grocery store? Okay, well, 9 times out of 10, you go home with groceries with your hands full. So why not take an extra step in the parking lot to look around, look at what vehicles, kind of like what your dad did with you.
Yeah.
How many vehicles, not necessarily have to count them. I'm not telling you to read license plates. Just look around. When you
Mm-hmm.
pull out of the parking lot, who's behind you?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Be aware, for sure.
you're pretty close to home, right? You're going to go I mean, you're not going to go
Yeah.
an hour out, right? Unless you got a cooler and whatever. But most of the time you go to your local grocery store. So what are you doing on the daily that's putting you in
Mm-hmm.
harm's way? Now listen, we all go to the grocery store. When you leave, take an extra look around. when you're leaving, when you're going out of the parking lot, see who's behind you. And then
Mhm.
your next step is what happens if I do see the same white truck. I'm just throwing it out there, a white truck that's following me. Man, I thought he was in the grocery store, or I thought she was in the grocery store. Gosh, this white truck has been on me for the last 5 blocks,
Mm.
and I only have 2 more blocks to go. Where do I go? A lot of people go home because that's where they feel safe.
Yep.
They'll go home. Go to your local fire department. Where's your local police department? Where's your local hospital? A lot of people don't realize that hospitals, you go to your ER and you park in the ER. Don't recommend that.
Yep.
But you park somewhere close to the hospital, they're not going to follow you in the hospital.
No.
They're
Yep.
going to go find an easier target. Like they're going to think,
Yep.
oh man, this one just took me to the police station. I'm going to go find another target.
Yep.
Be a hard target.
And making sure you know where those places are, because in that moment of panic, you're not gonna, unless you already know, you're not just gonna, in
100%.
a panic and in stressful moments, your brain does not work the same. So
No,
making
you
sure you know
go
where
back
those
to
places
that
are prior.
fear. Like when we are scared and I get scared. I mean, if I get scared, I want to go home. Like that's my first, and I'm like, oh wait, I can't bring these guys home.
Yeah.
So where do you even know where your nearest hospital is?
Mm.
Even if you did know where the hospital is, do you know where your ER? I mean, that's a whole nother ball game, right?
Yep.
So you have to be able to not go home, not panic, right?
Yep.
Um, Same thing with the gas stations. First thing I said was you have to think like the bad guy. If,
Mhm.
let's say, I didn't, but if I went and murdered somebody, I'm going to go to my nearest gas station because I need a ride out of town. And guess who
Mm.
just pulled up? Someone that's dumb enough to clean your vehicle and your back's turned.
Yeah.
I'm going to get your car because one, now you just pay for a full tank of gas. And I need to get out of town quick. With
Yeah.
You may not be my target, but your fold up vehicle, that's what I
Yep.
want.
Yeah.
So,
My new car has the gas tank on the opposite side of the driver door, and I almost just didn't buy it for that reason because I was like, that's such a safety risk.
yeah,
Like it's
that is fair. My clients also have that same scenario. So, how well do you know your car? Can you lock your car with the gas tank open or closed? Like
Mhm.
there's some cars that you have to get out and you have to unlock it because of the gas tank, obviously
Yep.
locks automatically. So how well do you know your vehicle? It's huge. That's a huge statement. And everybody's like, oh, well, I just get in and push start and put it in drive. It's like,
Yep.
we need a little bit more effort. And it's just conversations like this. We're meeting
Yep.
people where they are. And this is how you become safer. How well do you know your car? Do you also know that your vehicle is a deadly weapon?
Mm.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yep.
You can you a lot of states in the United States, that's where we're at. A lot of states now have the castle doctrine that if you're not at your house, you drive so much that the state allows that to be your castle too. So it's an extension. Do you know
Mm.
your rules? Do you know your laws?
Yep.
Do you know what you can do, what you can't do with your vehicle? A lot
Yep.
of, unfortunately, bad people are going and renting vans, renting big vehicles, and driving into crowds.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
really
This
sad.
world is,
But
yeah.
so, and we're not talking about guns, we're not talking about knives, we're
No.
talking about vehicles. I mean, anyone can go and rent a van.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we at Refuge always say the most dangerous thing we do in our day is drive a vehicle, but that's even on the other side. That's like getting into car accidents when you're in the vehicle. You're talking about like, the other way of using the vehicle.
oh,
And they always say, I know that there was, I don't remember what state it was, but they passed a law where like if people were trying to stop you from driving somewhere, like there was a crowd of people and you were to run over and kill them, like you weren't held liable because they were opposing a threat to you. And I was like, it's just,
it's different states have different,
yep.
I think knowledge is power, and that's why I'm pro education. I'm
Yep.
pro with people like yourselves and your team. You have to meet people where they're at. A lot of people they just don't think like us. We're trained, we're operatives, we've traveled the world. We unfortunately see the other side of things.
Mhm.
And then I really want to be the bridge that can collaborate and have conversations like this. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean when like a vehicle can be a deadly weapon? It's real simple. When you are intoxicated and you drive, that's why it's called manslaughter. There's a
Yep.
word for that in the law. So, hey, how about you Uber? How about
Yep.
other things we can do?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
for
I feel
sure.
like grocery stores, gas stations, um, bad people don't jump out of trees. They they're following you.
Yeah. Yep.
It, Stop watching the movies. Like I'm telling you right now, people are following you. What are you going to do? There's extra
Hmm.
people here in the country that may not know our rules. There's extra people that may not be able to read English and understand that we have laws that are coming from other places that do kidnappings. That's
Yeah.
their regular.
Yeah.
How do you defend against that?
Hmm.
What do
Yeah,
you
because
know,
it's at the end of the day, keeping yourself safe and your kids safe, your family safe is the number one priority. Like you want
number
to get
one?
home to them.
Absolutely. And we also have to like do a realization check and reality check. What is happening right now? Well, there's a lot of shootings.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things happening. Are you, even if you don't carry an item, what are you doing to protect yourself and your family if you do get shot? God forbid,
Yep.
right? Do you have an IFAC? What is an IFAC? Do you know what a tourniquet is? Basic, simple stuff. What's in your car? Can you stop a bleed? Can you stop a bullet hole?
Yep.
Like what is your knowledge? And it's once again, it's education.
Yep.
So we're going back to that.
Yep. Knowledge
Yeah.
is power. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. So head on a swivel, making sure you're obviously aware of people that are around you at all times, following you, things like that. What about when you're out at like parks? What is your recommendation for like a mom with her kids out at a park by herself?
always think like the bad guy. So we are having, unfortunately, we're having kidnappings. It's a bad, awful thing.
Yep.
So where are the kidnappers probably going to be? Where the
Mm.
kids are, which means where you are.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Are you on your phone when your kids are playing?
Yep.
I hate to say that. And are you aware of your surroundings? Hey, there's a weird person over here in a mask and a like a clown suit. It's not even October. Like,
Yeah.
what is your intention saying? And then what are you doing
Mm.
for that? What is your intention saying? It's like, oh, that's weird. It's not even October. Why is there like a clown there? Why is a single male
Mm-hmm.
bench over there watching my child? He's
Yeah.
not reading a newspaper. He's not on his phone. This is weird. I don't
Yep.
understand. If you can't understand something, figure out, hey, is this a danger to my
Mm-hmm.
child or to anybody else? Hey, how about you go, you know what, maybe little Susie, little Johnny, let's pack it up. We're going to go to another park.
Yep.
Really
Yeah.
that simple. And I understand that, we all have our schedules and we all have our favorite parks. Sometimes your intuition is telling you get out, leave.
Yep.
I think I saw something on Instagram. I wish I could find it. Um, there was a car literally in the playground going going around. I'm like, you guys get your kids and leave. People
Yeah.
are so scared because they don't know what to do because that's not the norm. You don't have a car coming and circling the playground.
Yeah.
Get your kids, get in your truck. Do you have your car keys? Can you, hey, super simple. How in shape are you?
Mm.
Can you pick up your kid?
Yeah.
Can you run
Mm-hmm.
with your kid, without your kid?
Yep.
I'm probably hitting some strings, and I feel that's fine, and I'm okay with saying that. How in shape are you?
Yeah. Well,
Can
yeah,
you
because the last,
take care of your kids?
yeah, the last thing you want to do is be, trying to pick up your kids and run to the car to safety and you're out of breath and you like,
You can't
that's
even
the
drive,
worst
can't even get
feeling.
away. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I know
scary.
I have 4 kids, so my fear has always been like, what if one of them gets taken? Do I just leave the other three to go chase like, and so I've always done the buddy system. Like my kids always stay 2 and 2, or all 4 of them try, stay together. And I was a single mom for years, so my head has always been on a swivel. I just call it people watching. I really enjoy people watching. My husband and I now do it on date night where we just people watch and we just like read body language and kind of things like that. Because I'm always just intrigued, like, well, why are they doing that? Well, why are they looking at the doors or why are they fidgeting with their pockets or why do they look nervous or sweaty or like, and picking it up in like relaxing atmospheres like a restaurant when you're on date night
Right.
leads you to pick it up easier when you're out at a park with your kids because you've
Nailed
seen
it.
it before. So
Absolutely
that's,
nailed it. I
yeah,
love
that's a huge thing.
I love it.
But
I
my
like the
kids,
language. I like the language people watching instead of profiling.
yeah, yeah,
Change up your language to make it make sense to you and your family. So if you
yeah,
got kids, like you said, the buddy system, that's brilliant.
yeah.
Um, hey, what are you teaching your kids? Like,
Hmm.
they're picking up on what you're putting out, even if you're
Yeah,
fearful, put them in play.
yeah,
They love games. Kids
yeah,
they love it. So you like not you, but like people who aren't like, oh, my kid, she wouldn't or he wouldn't know what to do.
hmm,
Actually, they're probably the ones that are going to warn you. Hey, mommy,
yeah,
daddy, what is that over there? What,
hmm,
why, why is there a man in the restroom? And you're like, oh my God, there's a man. Like, let's get out, let's go.
yep,
So
yep,
that works both ways. Even though our kids are young, they're exposed to way more stuff than you and I
hmm,
were raised with. So I feel like I know it's hard because they're still kids and you want to protect them, you want to protect that innocence, but it's already here. And they're
yep,
already talking about kidnappings. It's like stranger danger doesn't exist when you order Uber.
yeah,
People aren't understanding. It's kind of mixed messaging. So what do you do with those mixed messages? You talk about it. Are
hmm,
you opened enough as a parent to have those conversations, uncomfortable
yeah,
conversations? There's a lot going on, in society. And, why aren't there public bathrooms versus, there's all kinds of stuff going on. I'm not going to go down that road, but we have to have those conversations with our kids.
yeah. It ultimately comes down to us as parents. We have to teach our kids what to do in those situations. We have to
Yeah.
teach them, like we have code words in our family. So if mom says a word when we're out in public, they are to listen. They are to not ask questions. They are to be close to mom. They are like, and I've trained them like, yes, it means that mom is either sees a threat or it doesn't feel comfortable, but it's not your job to start looking for that threat either. Like your job is to keep your siblings protected, stay with mom, and just listen. Because it
Right.
might just be that there's, a car that's acting weird and mom might not actually see it as like a kidnapping threat, but I just don't want you to get hit by the car, a
Thank you.
busy parking lot or things like that. And that's just
Absolutely.
what I've had to teach him is like, hey, this is a word that just means like be quiet, listen, and follow instructions quickly. And it's
Wow.
been a real changer. And I just run through those scenarios sometimes with them. I'm like, okay, so if this happened, like, what would you do? If we were driving and mom passed out or mom, fell asleep,
Right.
like, do you know how to put the car in park? Do you know what to do in those situations? Because I would hate for them to be in that situation and have that helpless feeling of not knowing what to do. I mean, my oldest is only 9, but she's a very smart little girl. And I just like, I don't want to ever put her in that situation where if
Yeah.
something happens to mom that she can't help mom. I was having an asthma attack the other day and was sat down with her and she was instantly like, put her hand on my shoulder and was like, Mom, are you okay? Is there anything I can get for you? Do you need me to get dad? Like, and she was very one on one, trying to figure out what she could do because I've trained her in those situations. Like, we have to help each other. We're a big family. We,
Right.
we all are each other's keepers, when it comes to that. So it
So
really
true.
comes down to training with our kids and teaching them those scenarios. Like, I don't want something bad to happen, but if something does, like, you need to know how to respond and what to do in it. I know
100.
we taught our kids from a young age, like if somebody were to kidnap you, that you ball up because, mom or dad's going to take a shot and we don't want to hit you.
I
And it was
love this.
really,
We
yeah.
need to have more conversations like this.
Right? I'm totally down. My husband was a Marine, so he
Okay.
has that bad guy thinking in his
Right.
head. And
Right.
it's really helped train the kids. I wasn't around firearms until I got married to him. I
Yeah.
grew up not being around them, so I've learned a lot being with him. And it's one of those things that's like, you know, we're going to train for worst case scenario because we need to be prepared if something does happen. And praise the Father, we've never been in those situations. I had situations when I was a single mom back in the day with my two kids where I would be in Walmart and there was that one person that was always on the aisle and didn't really ever have anything in his cart and was just, you just get those weird feelings. And I would just pick up my kids and be like, nope, time to go. Like, leave my cart where it's at,
Not
be aware of
today.
my
Yep.
surroundings. Like, I will get my groceries later. Not worth that. It's just, Walmart is one of those places that I don't know why that's always an easy target area. But I always just get weird vibes. Not always, but there are times I think I've gotten weird vibes the most from people in Walmart, I
Yeah.
should say.
I've actually had a client that went through one of my courses, and we were talking about the kidnapping and all other things. And she was like, pre-COVID, when everybody went to the movies, she would go to a matinee with her kids because what else are you going to do, right? So
Yeah.
she went to a movie theater. I don't know, AMC, whatever. And she had two kids, and one was 10 and one was 8, a boy and girl. And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, yeah, I mean, we're in a movie theater. It's safe. I just let them go to the restroom because they went together, right? And she's just like, man, I was in the theater and 4 minutes passed by and she was like, where are my kids? So she got up, sure as hell, they were damn near out the door with a guy and
Oh,
just going to go see the puppies in his van, like,
uh,
and that wasn't too long ago. So
wow.
you really can't. I know a movie theater, we think we're safe. Once again,
Mm-hmm.
she wasn't thinking like the bad guy, and that's okay. Thank God the kids didn't get kidnapped. So if I could, put a pretty bow on everything, think like the bad guy. I know
Yeah.
that's not like what we want to do, but we have to do that. Think like the bad
Yep.
guy. Education, conversations like this, get training, medical training.
Yep.
Even if you don't want to carry a weapon, anything like that. A lot of my clients are like, well, tell me what the best taser is. Tell me what the best pepper spray is. And I'm like, those items, you have to be really up close and personal. Why are you
Yeah.
allowing anyone in your personal space like that?
Yep.
And they're like, oh,
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah.
So before you start using tools like pepper spray, tasers, guns,
Yeah.
think about what are you putting off? Like my my former client has stickers on her car. Little Johnny playing
Mm-hmm.
volleyball, Sarah, whatever, is playing soccer, and like middle school.
School names and
What
yeah.
are
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you giving away for free?
Yep.
Free. You're basically, I mean, look, I know we're proud of little Johnny and little Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulate you got on the varsity team. I don't know,
Keep
but
that stuff on the fridge at home.
keep that stuff on the fridge at home. And
Yep.
a lot of good people don't realize what they're doing. But
Yeah.
if you can think of like the bad guy, educate yourself, time and space, time and distance from anybody that you don't know,
Yep.
head on a swivel, and think like the bad guy. What are you giving away for free? What are you giving away for free? Your whatever, your Denali, your G-Wagon, whatever, and you're gonna put like where your kids go to school. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a pedophile's dream. It's just like, oh well
Mhm.
shit, I'll just follow them home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
I used to like didn't think much of those stickers until I thought about it like that, and that was several years ago when I thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, nope,
Nope, no
like
more.
nope, no more.
Signs in the yard. I mean, I've had my clients, yeah, this is not good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's simple stuff. And, as a parent, you're proud and you're happy and all that. It's great. It's beautiful. But now we live in a world where there's extra people, there's extra things, there's extra movements going on. A lot of people's head is coming out of the sand because you can only
hmm
do that for so long.
yeah,
And now they're lost because, the world's kind of gone by while their head's in the sand. And now it's like, oh, I'm here now. Like, what do we do? Well, all right, come on. Let's
yep,
educate yourself, head on a swivel, think like the bad guy. So,
yeah.
and
Well,
medical, any kind of medical. I'm not asking you to be a doctor or an RN, but get your basics covered.
yep.
So,
Yep. Yeah, medical is a huge thing, that we talk about here at Refuge. But I
you.
mean, thank you so much for all of those tips, Amber. That was opened up a whole new world, I'm sure, for several people
I think
when it
so good.
comes to public safety and everything going on. And I think we'll have to chat some more because I know we didn't even go down like, most of the rabbit holes we could have. So I
I love
appreciate
it.
you.
Thank you. I
Thanks for
adore the
coming
Refuge
on.
medical team and the family. You guys are doing really good work. Really good work.
We appreciate that. Have a great day.
Bye.